and Jeannie's going to help with this piece. She's going to talk a little bit about how we're going to do this pit fire for the guild. It's going to be on May 21st. It's a Sunday. It'll be, and the details are on the web page if you look at the calendar, but it's going to be Sunday and it'll be in Arroyo Verde Park in Ventura. It'll be a pit fire and a potluck. So it'll be a face-to-face gathering for those people that are looking forward to seeing each other again or meeting new friends or just hanging out with other people that love clay. Um, and Jeannie's going to share a little bit about how we're going to be organizing this and how to get yourself and your pots prepared. So with that, I'll turn it over to you, Jeannie.
Oh, thank you. Gosh, after that presentation, I don't know. This style of pit firing is totally different than what they do in Mata Ortiz, which is absolutely gorgeous work. So we're just going to shift gears here. Definitely May 21st is the scheduled day for the pit fire. We have two large barbecues there at the park, so we can fire quite a bit of work. We're thinking 2 to 3 pieces per person, kind of try to keep them within the 6 by 6 inch dimensions so we can get more pieces in. And of course, the more people we have, then a little bit less. But I think with those two huge fire pits that we have, I think we'll be able to get quite a few pieces in. But what we're going to do now, the pit fire itself is on the 21st of May, and we're going to start loading the fire pits about 10 o'clock, and hopefully by 10:30 we can get the fire started, because the fires take a good 3 to 4 hours to really burn hot and to burn down, so we can get some good fuming of our ingredients and get some good color. Now, the pieces that you're seeing right now are pieces that I've done here in my own fire pit. These pieces were directly put into the fire, but I know that there's another way where you can wrap your pieces in aluminum foil with the salts and stuff within the aluminum foil. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to do both. But anyway, back to the May 21st. What we're also going to do on May 20th, the Saturday, we're going to have a preparation party. For those in Ventura area, it'll be at my house at 10 o'clock, and those in the Santa Barbara area, it will be at Rebecca Russell's. And this is for people to come and get their pieces ready to go into the fire, where we can do the aluminum foil, we can add the salts, we can get the ferric chloride on your pieces, because that needs to dry before you fire them. So this will be the time to actually get them ready. So on the 21st, when you arrive, we'll be able to just go ahead and put your pieces right into the fire. We don't have to do a lot of prep on that day. So keep the 20th May for the preparation and the 21st for our firing. And then, so there's obviously several ways to prep our pieces. Burnishing, of course, is the traditional way, and very interesting using this soap to help burnish your pieces. Something maybe somebody would like to try. I always burnished with a smooth stone while my pieces were still leather hard. But I've also heard of ways where you do the greenware and with the oil, adding the oil and then the burnishing with the oil on it. So that's two ways to do the more traditional burnishing style. But there's a second way for those of us that are a bit lazy and don't like to spend that time rubbing a stone on our pots. And that's with terra sigillata. And you do take your greenware pieces and you coat it with the terra sig, and then you just use a lint-free cloth to buff it, and that'll shine it up. And what the terra sigillata is really a very, very fine solution of clay. What I've done in the past is just taken my dry B mix, and you can also, dry out some of whatever clay you're working with, and mix it in a big pot of water. I mean, it's really liquidy. It's almost like milk consistency. It's so liquidy. and then let it sit for 24 to 48 hours. And the heavy particles will settle out. The terra sigillata would be this middle layer, and on the top layer, you'll have water. So I would pour the water off, pour that terra sig, and you can really see the difference once you start getting to the really, really heavy stuff. So it's that middle layer that you want to work with. I have included a lot of all this information will be on the website as to how to prep your pieces. And I have included a recipe for those of you that do have some of the ingredients, using 12 cups of water, 8.5 cups of an OM4 ball clay, and 3 teaspoons of sodium silicate. And again, you mix all that together, let it sit probably 24 to 48 hours. And from that, the recipe says you'll get about a quart of terra sigillata, and which will cover a lot of pots. It doesn't take a lot of terra sig. But there's several ways that once you have your terra sig to apply it. One is with a very soft brush, is to brush it on, but make sure it's really, really soft so that you don't get any brush marks. Any marks on there will show at the end. The other way that I've always done it is just pouring the terra sig over the pot. And again, being careful not to get any drip marks on the piece, so because they will show. And then once it dries, which doesn't take too long, and then you just take your cloth and you can buff it up and get a nice shiny surface. So what Jose was talking about sanding the pieces, no, I've never done that. So that sounds like an interesting process to go ahead and take the greenware and sand it down so it gets really, really nice and smooth. So I think I'm going to give that a try for a change before I put the terra sigillata on it. So any questions on the terra sig before I go on?
Yes. Is it bone dry?
Yes, the pieces are bone dry.
Yeah.
When you do that, so it'll soak right in for you. And then for the bisque firing, I've always just bisqued to 06 with my pieces. I mean, traditionally they say to go to like 018, which is a very low fire process. Then your pieces are a little more absorbent to accept the colorants and stuff, but most of us, don't have access to a kiln where we can just fire it to that low temperature. Because I personally always just throw all my stuff together and have a few things for pit firing. So I always bisque to 06 and still get a lot of good colors. So definitely they need to be bisque fired before we start prepping them. So this is a major difference from what the Mata Ortiz do, is that we do bisque fire before we put our pieces into the fire. And then the prepping and the getting it ready for the firing. Again, there's various ways to do it. Definitely a lot of experimenting goes into this. Like I say, I've always just put my pieces directly into the fire and throw in the salts and good stuff all around it to get color. But you can also wrap your pieces in aluminum foil. And within that aluminum foil, we'll put the salts and whatever other ingredients, seaweed, feathers, horsehair, various things, and then seal it up. And then we put that bundle into the fire. And that way what's inside is what's going to give you your color and your design to your piece. And I would really recommend for this firing that you do one with the aluminum foil and one without directly, just to see what the differences are going to be. So that's what I'm suggesting. Some of the ingredients that we like to work with, and the Guild is going to provide some of these ingredients for you to use at the preparation session. And so it'll be things like we'll have the ferric chloride, which will put thinned out solution, which we will pour onto our pieces, which will help give color. And then using copper carbonate, Miracle-Gro, salt. I've even sprayed my pieces with copper spray paint and then wrapped those in aluminum foil. Those are the things that are going to be provided at the preparation sessions on the Saturday. If you want to put other things in, with your aluminum foil wrapped pieces. You are welcome to try anything you want. Things that people have used is seaweed. Get some dry seaweed. If you get the kelp, I would avoid the bulb on the end of the kelp. There's so much salt in that when those explode and absorb into your pottery will eventually just flake away. I've actually had some pieces sitting on the shelf that were developing just little piles of clay dust over time, and it was just deteriorating the clay because there was too much salt. So maybe some of the grasses or some of the other type of kelp little pieces, and get those dried out. You don't want to use them wet. So seaweed is a good thing. Another fun thing I've worked with is the copper chore boys, if we can find them anymore. If you get them onto your piece really, really tight, you can sometimes get a really neat pattern that develops from that chore boy grid that's on there. Other things people have used are banana skins, corn husks, sawdust. Sawdust will give you black. And so if you want, say, a black bottom, a little bit of sawdust at the bottom to get black. String soaked in salt water, wrapped around. Horsehair, copper sulfates, iron sulfates. A little bit of sugar sprinkled on will give black spots, and copper wires wrapped around, but you've got to get them really tight onto your piece to get any coloring. A lot of times it's just a black line. If we're lucky, you might get a little bit of fuming of color. Soda ash, feathers, and they also list manganese here. So I don't even know if I have some of those things, but those are just things that have, other people have used within their aluminum foil saggers. So there are a couple of YouTube videos that you might want to look at to review the, I was looking at a whole bunch of them, but the two that I'm suggesting are Sagger Firing Pottery, the Pottery Wheel. She is, if you're only going to watch one, watch her. She's really, really good at demonstrating how to prep your pieces for a sagger. Well, she's calling it sagger firing, but for a pit fire.
Would you repeat the name?
Hey, hold on a second. I'm going to show you guys something. Okay. So this is what you'll start seeing now on the website. So under learning, there's now a new edition. It's called Programs. And if you click on it, I'm assuming you guys can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So this here is what you'll see. It's kind of the same as the newsletter. These will be posts. So there'll be resources related to programs, either things that presenters give us, or in this case, this is Jeannie's information on the pit fire, sagger fire. And so here are the YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So yeah, definitely the Sagger Firing Pottery, the Potter Wheel. And then another one is Pit Firing Pottery with Chris Dunn. Both of those are interesting. Now, Chris, what he does, he actually takes the corn husks, so they look like they're dry ones, and he kind of uses that in place of the aluminum foil, where he puts a bunch of stuff in there, and then he kind of wraps the pot with the corn husk and ties it all up with a string, so that corn husk kind of becomes a sagger container. So that sounds really fascinating also. We might, that might be a third way to try if we have 3 pots that we can go in. So do look at those, because they're really going to show you how to put the ferric chloride, sorry, get my brain working. They really show you 2 different ways, one brushing and one pouring the ferric chloride and then prepping with the salts and stuff, various different salts. They don't go over burnishing or terracage, but they do the other. So those are really good to look at. So let's see. So for the firing, what we are asking, we're gonna have, when we do the firing, we're gonna have in your job list, I can't think of the word, for your
Yeah,
service
so-
to the guild, team service, thank you. There's gonna be a whole bunch of different things one can do. And there's 4 places for 4 people to help me with the firing process. So the 4 of us will be the ones getting the fires going, getting stuff loaded in there and keeping the firing going. So need, 4 people. If you really want to learn how to do the firing process, you want to sign up for that. And then there's other ones that for the exhibit and for the potluck to deal with that. And we do need one person there, says for the woodcutter. I have 6 pallets, wood pallets from the last clay order. If there is somebody that has a saw that can come saw that wood up, then we will have that for our pit fire, and that will save us having to purchase other kinds of wood. Also, anybody that has wood, has small tree branches, scrap wood, any kind of wood laying around, if you have that, let us know so we can, get that from you. It takes a lot of wood, a lot of kindling to get these fires, especially in these larger barbecue pits that we're going to be using. I also ask anybody that might have access to a field where there are cows, that cow pies are fabulous to use for pit firing. And I've always gotten good color when I've worked with the cow pies. I'm hoping that
Dry
we'll get
ones.
dry ones, of course. You don't want to go out during this weather to collect. But the nice big flat pies, once things dry up, are really good. I'm hoping that the smaller of the 2 barbecue pits we can do with the cow pies to, I don't know if we'll get enough for both barbecue pits, but that's my goal. Another request is anybody out there that has horses that can give us some straw. Again, I've always gotten good results when I use straw as kind of a nest to nest my pottery into. So if we can, if you contact me and let me know if we can get a couple of those, what are they, flakes of straw to use. So that's something that I'm requesting. And newspaper, those of you that anybody still gets the newspaper, we need some of that to help start the fire as well.
I can get newspaper. I just go to the Ojai Valley News, and they'll give you a bulk paper that they have left. So I'll definitely bring newspaper.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Jody. Thank you for that. Write that down. If I don't write down, then I'm going to forget who talked.
What kind of colors are you talking about? You say we get good color. What kind of colors can we expect?
You can get anything from blacks and grays to reds. I don't know if you can show me again for just a moment. I have 2 pieces here I can share.
Just have people switch them to speaker again, their view to speaker.
Because I see right now, I see the news, the
Okay.
website. There we go. So this is one of the pieces that I have done. Actually, the red on this came from a copper spray paint that I painted on there. But you can get a lot of reds and yellows and kind of oranges and blacks and grays from various materials. Of course, anything like sawdust or anything that's really condensed is going to give you black. But things that like the copper carbonates will give you the reds, fuming, and I think seaweed and stuff like that will probably give you some of the orange and yellows that come up. And here's another piece, again, kind of the blacks and grays on one side and then the reds on the other side. So those are the only 2 pieces that I brought in here this evening to show. And those are the 2 of the pieces that are on the pictures, probably are on the website that show you the pictures. Also, if you look at these videos, these YouTube videos, I think they also have some finished pieces. You can see some of the colors that they've gotten with various items. It's all kind of a crapshoot, So we're aiming to get positive on all of the colors, but the one thing about it, if a piece comes out and you don't like it, you just take it home, blaze it, and refire it. Everything will burn out. So,
Jeannie,
yes,
can you put a low fire liner glaze inside when you're bisquing your piece so that it might be water retain, it will retain water afterwards?
are you using a low fire clay to do that?
No, like
But I mean, if you're, if you're not using a low fire clay in order to put that low fire liner in there, I think it's still gonna sweat. Even if
Oh,
you do that. No,
okay,
I've
so
never,
it,
I've never done that, but you can give it a try. I don't
well,
know.
if I use like a B-Mix, a cone 5/6 B-Mix, and I lined it with an 06 liner glaze and biscuit.
Give it a shot and see. I've not done that, but it's, yeah.
Okay,
I don't see why not. Let's try it.
yeah, because I wanted it to be water, to
I
hold
don't-
water.
I don't think it's gonna be waterproof though,
Oh,
because your
okay.
clay will not be vitrified.
Okay,
That's why if you want,
Can't you put like Thompson water seal into the vessel after it's been fired as a way to try to get it to be
Yeah.
watertight?
yeah, you can, and there's some other products that you can pour in there to seal the inside. I actually had to do that one time to a raku piece. But from
oh,
from
okay,
the hardware store, yeah, there's silicones and other things that you can pour in,
oh,
Thompson's water seal and things like that
okay,
to do. Otherwise, have a piece that's big enough that you can insert a glass or plastic container to hold your water.
mm-hmm,
If it's like a flower vase that's kind of
Yeah.
open, but so yeah, there's ways around it. There's like from the hardware stores, anything that's a masonry sealant should
Uh-huh.
work
okay,
do that.
thanks.
on the
Thanks.
inside. And actually some of that, when I was sealing up the raku piece I did, I even coated the outside just to be sure. Because I was selling it, so I wanted to be sure it was watertight,
Yeah.
Oh, because you can get the stuff that's clear. So, and then on the day of the firing, of course, the five of us that are working, I have raku gloves and tongs that we can use. And then I will bring a wax. My pieces, oftentimes I will wax. I use a wax that is, it's used to be tree wax, TREWAX. It's a clear wax that will not go yellow on you. Now, I haven't bought it in a long time, so I don't know if they still make it. I'm gonna have to go to my favorite hardware store in Santa Barbara and see if they still have it. But I put that on, and then with a shoe brush, I buff the piece to get a nice shine to it. I like that look to it. It's a little more natural shine with the wax. But I have also used clear acrylic spray paint to spray them to get a shine, and that's a little shinier and still looks nice, but to me it's just not quite as nice as the wax, but it's a lot shinier to do that. So let's see, any questions? I'm not sure, did I cover everything?
Yeah,
So
there's-
what we're asking for, beyond basically wood, anybody that has wood, let us know. Our straw, cow pies, and maybe if somebody has access to a field, we can have a field trip and go pick up cow pies. We've done that before, and so let's see.
a couple of things I want to show
Yeah,
everyone. So again, this is our homepage on the website. Down at the bottom, the middle box is a calendar. So if you scroll down, you'll see the Pit Fire Prep in Ventura, Pit Fire Prep in Santa Barbara, and also the Pit Fire Gathering. We're asking everyone who wants to participate in one of the preps or in the Pit Fire that you register. So if you click on that particular date, it'll bring you to the calendar view. And it gives you a little bit of information about the day and what's going to be happening. Royal Verity has a day use parking fee of $3, so maybe carpool. Pots no larger than 6 by 6 inches. But the big piece here is register now. So we can see we've got 5 people already registered. If you want to see who's coming, you can click on the button that says registrants and it'll tell you who's already signed up to come. But if you're coming, you need to click on register now. Sign yourself up. And the thing about our doing it this way is because you're logged in, we already know who you are. So you don't have to put your name or your phone number or anything in. So we're asking for 2 pieces of information. What are you going to bring to the potluck? So I'll just say salad because that's easy. And then this is what Jeannie's talking about, pit fire contributions. What can you bring? So this saves calling Jeannie, sending an email. We're going to collect all of this information here online when you register. So I'm going to bring sawdust and tongs. And then I'm going to go to next. Okay, your registration is not complete until you review it. All right, so it's saying this is the person. This is the day. Send me emails to confirm my registration. And then you click complete registration. Once you
Where
do
does
that, you're
Sorry.
registered.
Where does it say if they're going to come to the pre?
So where it says that is, let me go back to the home page.
Oh, so you have to click on one of those sessions. then.
Yeah, you
Okay.
come here and you're going to come to the Pit Fire Prep in Ventura.
Oh, okay.
You
Got it.
click on that and you go through the same register now.
Okay, that's good to
Okay.
know. Thank you.
All right, no problem. No problem. So that's one important piece. Now, for all of you that remember learning programs, this is where you're going to get, I don't know how many people had a chance to watch the video clip that came out with the announcement for today's meeting. If you didn't get the email, you may want to come back. This is a little, I don't know, 30-second clip that Jose did of his village. And then this is the resources that Jeannie has. The other resource for us all is if you go to talk and select forums. There is a low fire alternative firing forum. And a forum is a place where you could just come in and we can have a discussion about the pit fire. So I'm going to start a new thread that's going to be, and let's see if this works, Terry. All right, so I'm going to say pit fire.
What do you mean if this works?
I love I'm doing it. So this is just idea. And this is, here is where we can share our questions, resources, and excitement about the upcoming in-person pit fire potluck and gathering. Okay, so I'm going to post this. Yes, Terry?
Does this come as an email to everybody or
Refresh
do you
the
have to
page.
go to the page?
No, this you have to come to the page.
Well, it might come as an email if you subscribe to it.
Right. So what happened, Terry?
Well, do refresh the page.
Okay.
The other thing too, while she's
There
doing
we go.
that, is, even if you're not participating in the firing, but just want to come to the gathering, you are welcome. Come and join the potluck.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 'cause the
Absolutely. But
potluck
you
will
still have
be-
to register.
So we know at least register for food, right?
Yep, register for
Yeah.
food.
So the lunch potluck will be, we're counting on like 12 noon for the potluck. But yeah, and this is open to all guild members. So hopefully we
Well,
get a
if
good
it's gonna
turnout.
be an all-day thing, people can bring snacks for all day too.
Well, that's
Right.
nice. You know, somebody wants to bring donuts in the morning or pastries or
Something for the afternoon.
Yeah.
drink.
coffee.
So stay
or
tuned. We'll have more
chocolate or-
information. We'll have more information rolling out about the day, etc.
Yeah, when,
Couple things. Yeah, so I've done things a little bit differently in pit firing. So one,
Uh-huh.
I found when I was burnishing, I usually use porcelain because I like the smooth surface. Cone 6 or cone 10 didn't seem to matter. And what I found, if I was like, I would use the coconut oil to burnish, and I do 2 or 3 burnishings. If I bisqued over 010, I started to lose some of the sheen of the burnishing. And then I've always wrapped my pots with paper. Like
okay,
take newspaper and put the oxides and whatever kind of in there around it and tape it all up. And the paper obviously burns before everything vaporizes, but it at least deposits everything in that area.
okay.
um,
Well, the difference with the aluminum foil is that it will eventually disintegrate, but it won't burn up right away. So it will hold
It stays
the
right close to the pot,
stuff closer.
your
yeah,
pot, right?
Yeah,
And the other thing is I've used for wax, I've used bowling alley wax, which is also,
okay.
it's a clear hard wax.
all right.
So it's durable, really durable because of its intended use, and it doesn't yellow, it's clear. It's a paste
Okay.
wax.
That's good to know. Good.
Yeah.
Where do you find that?
I found it online somewhere 10 years ago.
Okay.
It's
I'm sure it's on Amazon.
on
Bowling
somewhere.
alley supply shop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really.
Go to
Say
your
the
local
name
bowling
again.
alley, they have it.
Say the name again.
Bowling alley wax.
Bowling alley.
It's not the
wax.
brand name, that's just the purpose,
Oh.
the function. It's wax
that's
made
what
for
it is.
bowling alleys. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
So the one I've used is tree wax. It's TREWAX. So
Mhm.
I'll see if I can find that. Yeah, because some of the paste waxes will yellow over time, so you got to be
Right.
careful
Mm.
on that. So I think that I got all of my info. Is there any questions? Is there anything that I might have forgotten? But anyway, all this information is online for you to go over. But I like the idea of doing the dry and then the oil to
Mhm.
burnish it. And you're right, when the hotter you fire the pieces, the more you lose that burnish
Yeah.
look. So if you can keep them pretty low, that's good. Because 010 is even lower than 06, so
Right.
yeah. That's why we all need small kilns, right?
Yeah.
I've got one, but it doesn't fight. Well, maybe I'll go to 010.
Sure.
It's
Sure
probably about
will.
as far as it's going. I couldn't even get it up to 1400, so maybe that'd be perfect.
Mm.
Any questions on the day or the time or what we're going to be doing or how to prep?
Jeannie, did you say that some of the pieces were bisqued at 018?
That's traditional, what I've heard in the past, because that keeps it very porous, the clay very porous, to pick up more of the fuming.
Thank you.
Mhm. That is-
I used to do 010 with the students. We used to make rattles. That was one of their first things that they would do is
Yeah, that'd be
uh,
a little
pinch pot
stronger.
rattle. Yeah. So we did
Yeah.
010 and it worked. It absorbed really well. I don't know that I'd go to 06.
Well, it might have always been 06, so, because I, like I say, fired them with a lot of other stuff, so.
I have a
mean-
question for you, Jeannie, just
Uh-huh.
how long do you think people will be there? Or maybe I'll check with you closer. I can't get to you until 2 o'clock on a Saturday. So the prep, when could I come in the afternoon on the 20th?
Yeah, I'll make an exception for you, Jody. Hopefully
Thanks.
we don't go that long. I would think a couple hours. If people can come, between 10 and 12, that would be good.
Yeah, I just can't get out of class and I can't not do
Oh.
it because I'm already missing 2 Saturdays.
Yeah, that's right. You do
Mhm.
teach on that day. So yeah,
Okay.
Me too.
I will
I
for
teach
you.
till 1. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
see,
okay, so, all righty, so we'll have a 2 o'clock session, a 10 o'clock session, and a 2 o'clock session.
Nah,
how does
Thanks,
this-
Jody and I
Gina.
could meet in Ojai. We could meet in Ojai and do it.
so
yeah, I
here's,
just don't have I have a lot of the stuff, but not the chemical stuff, not like the,
The ferric chloride, yeah. which
yeah,
is-
all that stuff. So do you
Everybody's,
have
You know,
that
we-
stuff, Win?
It's easy to get.
yeah, I think right now is, we're offering the prep sessions for 2 hours in each of those locations simply as a convenience for people if they want or need help or encouragement to do this process. You don't have to come to a prep session to be part of the pit fire on Sunday. People can do their own prep, with materials you may have in your studio. So if you have copper carbonate or, manganese or whatever, you could do your own prep and, get your pots ready. It's not a required thing. And I could share with you just personally in planning for this, though Jeannie and Rebecca were pretty clear that they wanted to keep the window of time short and specific and it not be an all-day event for them. So I'm going to step in and say, please be respectful. We understand that people have limitations, but we also know that Rebecca and Jeannie are both very generous people. And yeah,
well, I'm always open for bribes.
and there is, what we're trying to do, in the past, the guild has sort of been, oh, I'm going to call you and do this, I'm going to call you do this. What we're trying to do is sort of use the website as a place to consolidate information and make it available to as many as people as possible and not have to keep track of necessarily phone calls and coordination of information that way. So this is probably one of our first big events in trying to make that work, and it's going to be a test to see how effective it's going to be to pull the Ojai pottery market off with it. So I would ask people to work with us in shifting kind of, the way we get registration managed and kind of try to keep track of things.
Do we have a date for the Ojai market, the Ojai sale?
The second weekend in June.
Here we go. Let's look at the calendar.
So anyway, yeah,
Not
so
done
the
yet.
prep day will be from 10 to 12 on that Saturday. Jody, I'll talk to you later.
No worries.
Jeannie,
And
talk to me too. I don't know, maybe Ojai people should do something.
Who's talking? I don't see who was
Oh,
talking.
it's Kristen.
Okay, Kristen.
Yeah.
Kristen, we can pull it off. We'll do it in Ojai
We
if
can
we
do
need
it.
to. We don't,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, you guys can meet together, because just have
I'm
everything
sh-
ready to go.
Great
Yeah.
idea.
I bet
Yeah.
the 3 of us could come up with most of this stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
definitely.
It's not
definitely.
expensive stuff like,
I
copper
just don't have,
sulfate and
yeah,
iron sulfate. Yeah.
I have copper carbonate. I think.
Okay.
I just don't make glazes. so.
All right. So here's the calendar on the website. Somebody asked about Ojai. Here we go.
Yep, I see. Okay.
Hmm.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Your local resource for what's happening with the Potter's Guild.
Definitely. Something else to check on every day, right?
All right.
All right.
I want
so-
to thank Jeannie and Rebecca, and we thanked Jose for helping to pull this together and to be part of the program team moving programs for the guild forward. Now we've got one more member on the program team who wasn't able to be here tonight, but helped us get a really wonderful couple from Tennessee who are going to be presenting in April. So
All right, nice.
yeah.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to this pit fire, so I'm looking forward to a fun time.
Mhm,
I've
me
already,
too.
yeah, I already made some pieces.
Mhm.
So,
I'd just
Yeah.
like to say this has been a delightful evening and I'm thrilled to meet all of you and I'm looking forward to this a lot. Thanks.
All right,
This
well,
was a
welcome.
Great meeting, a really great meeting.
All right.
Thank you, Rebecca.
So we'll see you next month
Thank
here,
you
if
so
not
much.
before.
Thanks.
Right.
Everybody. Well
It's a
done.
great,
Thanks, everyone.
great
Okay.
program. Thank you.
Bye.